We're talking cleanup and recycling efforts and how you can take part on today's show. Joined now by Wayne Jones, Litter Control Coordinator with the City of Suffolk. And Wayne, I know we've had you on before to talk about the efforts that you and the folks you work with and everything you're doing to help Suffolk stay as green as possible. One of the things coming up right away, really, the Great American Cleanup, which is not just a Suffolk event, but we're going to focus on Suffolk. So how can people take part in that, and what is your office doing to help coordinate that on the local level?
Sure, yeah, the Great American Cleanup is happening all across the country. It's a program launched by Keep America Beautiful, which is a national organization. But locally here in Suffolk, we're just encouraging people, families particularly, businesses, to get out on Friday 26th and Saturday 27th, to get out and just clean up their neighborhood, their street, their parking lot, if it's a business or maybe a church or whatever they can do, to get out and just, clean up the place a little bit and make it a nicer place to live. We provide all the equipment. If they're interested, we can give you the litter grabber, some bags, a safety vest if you're on the road, and we'll even drop it off to your door, or if that's not, good for you, you can meet me and we can get you the equipment to, help facilitate your cleanup. And, if you do want to organize a cleanup, it's really easy. Just contact us at Litter Control. Set your time and your date, and if you're looking for more people, maybe we can help recruit some, some other neighbors, and that type of thing. But it's really easy to do, and we're just looking for people to get out for maybe half an hour, 2 hours if they feel like it.
Right.
Fill a bag,
Sure.
take the dog for a walk, pick up some trash as you go, just to make a difference across the city.
And everybody wins when those things happen, right?
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference.
Right.
We normally get, a couple of, across the region, we're looking at about 1,000, plus volunteers. So it really does make a difference,
Yes.
but, cleanups like these.
Right. And, with springtime coming, things are kind of starting to get a little green out there.
Yes.
But again, people are out and about in general more because the weather's cooperating a little bit. So we get a chance to, say, well, look, I want to make a difference, so let's go and clean up this community and whatever. And I know your office relies heavily on groups to volunteer that do things, and it doesn't just have to be connected to the Great American Cleanup, but that's a great opportunity. But I mean, you're always kind of coordinating with different groups who want to get out there and make a difference in their community by cleaning up an area, a neighborhood, or whatever, right?
That's right, yeah. So the Great American Cleanup is just to raise awareness.
Right.
It's the 2 days is a 2-day push, but I mean, anybody can clean up any day of the week. Any week of the year.
Correct.
And we have groups,
Right.
church groups, scout groups, neighbors, anybody, businesses. They can borrow the equipment and do their cleanups. And if they're interested, they can go on to maybe adopt a street. The Adopt a Street program is one of the programs that we have running, and it's a minimum of 2 years commitment. And you just let us know which stretch of road you'd like to, commit to keeping clean. And on a regular basis, you go out and you keep it clean. It's a great program, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
That we have a lot of roadways in Suffolk. We're a large community,
Correct.
And we do rely on a lot of volunteer organizations to get out and help out.
Now, do we still see the signs for that around when an area or maybe a group or organization or whatever has adopted a road or an area? Do we still see those signs? Y'all still doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
We do have the signs for
Yes.
the groups that have been with us for a while.
Correct.
That have done a lot of cleanups, and we put up signage to recognize their efforts. But we do a lot of our recognizing nowadays on social media.
Right.
It's great to see the people behind the cleanups.
Yes.
So we encourage pictures of cleanups.
Right.
It's great to give those people a shout out, but it's also nice to inspire and kind of nudge others to do their bit as well. So yeah, we're focusing mainly on social media recognition, especially with businesses too. It's a great public relations effort to get out and donate a little bit of time to keep in your parking lot, making sure those dumpster areas are kept clean. It goes a long way, in terms of helping to keep the wider community clean, because that just blows. When the winds come through and we get the rains, it leaves the parking lot, it gets into our storm drain system, and that can cause issues in flooding. So it's just important to pick this stuff up so it doesn't get into our waterways. And those programs are a great way to take part. But you don't have to commit
Right.
to a long-term plan.
Okay.
If you just want to do a one-off cleanup, just let us know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're litter control at SuffolkVA.us, and you can call us,
Right.
and we'll drop the equipment off, and you do your cleanup, and we'll even facilitate for the bags. And if you have any large debris, we can facilitate that being picked up too. So, and then we'll pick up the equipment, and that's done. All you have to do is donate your time
Right.
and effort, and
Right.
Everything else we'll handle.
Sounds like y'all make it very easy, which I
Yes.
know is the thing. And
Yeah.
again, sort of like we'll provide the resources, you provide the labor is
Yeah.
really what it boils down to, correct?
Yeah. We have the equipment, and we just need more and more people to take part. So,
Correct.
if we all got out there and did a little bit, it'd go a long way. And yep, as easy as possible is the key.
And you mentioned social media, and that's the good thing there is sort of the approach, I guess, is, well, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Is what people,
Yeah, and it's great for our volunteers too, because you're out there cleaning up,
Yeah.
and you might not realize that there's also another 3 groups across town doing their cleanup too.
Correct.
And it's nice to have that camaraderie, to know that you're not alone, and you're a part of a community that wants to make it, a nicer place to live. So yeah, it's a great tool for us. Our social media page is Keep Suffolk Beautiful, and we're on Facebook and
Right.
Instagram, and we share a lot of our cleanup pictures and some of the other things that we do. In terms of environmental, stewardship.
Now, you mentioned Keep Suffolk Beautiful. For those who may not be aware, talk about the relationship between Keep Suffolk Beautiful and the City of Suffolk. How does that kind of coordinate together?
Sure. So there is a commission with commissioners, and it's the Suffolk Clean Community Commission, and they're appointed by council members. They're volunteers in the community. A few years ago, they became an affiliate of Keep America Beautiful. So then they become Keep Suffolk Beautiful. That's how that works. And yeah, it's basically made up of volunteers. It's a volunteer board. We get together once a month. We have a small budget. They tell me what they want to spend the money, what they want to put their money towards, and we put money into litter prevention, which is one of the main things that we focus on. And another one is recycling, and then we go for grants for trees, community gardens, stuff like that.
Beautification efforts, things like that.
Yeah,
Right,
kind
exactly.
of falls under that pillar. But yeah, litter prevention is one of the things. So we buy the equipment
Right.
with some of that funding, and we organise cleanups. And once we're up and running again as normal, we'll be back to doing our river cleanups and community cleanups that we were doing, prior.
And those certainly are some of the bigger ones that really get people's attention because
Yeah.
it's interesting the stuff sometimes you pull out of the river, which is sad to think that it's
Yes.
in there to begin with, but that aside. But I think those are great, really massive things that you gather a lot of people together with all kinds of resources, people in boats, people cleaning shorelines, all kind of stuff like that. And those are great things that really, again, make a big difference in the community.
They do make a big difference, and it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
I mean, you meet some interesting people.
Sure.
You crack jokes, and there's banter, and
Yeah.
like the police come out in their boat.
Yep.
They normally assist us in fire and rescue come out in their boat, and then we get other people that come out in canoes and kayaks, and we have people on land. So the river cleanups are a lot of fun, and we hope to get those up and running again soon.
Yeah.
It's kind of an activity that you can do right now anyway, because it's a little bit more socially distancing. There's no reason to be on top of each other and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, some of the stuff we find in the river it's sad, but it's great to get it out and
Sure.
get in the wetlands and really get out in those wetlands and find those TVs and tires and all the stuff that pretty much gets in there through storms washing it in.
Right.
And that goes back to keeping your parking lot clean, keeping your street clean, because eventually it makes its way into
Yes.
our waterways.
Yes.
And it's it needs to be out of there.
Indeed.
Yep.
Well, one thing, we talked about social distancing, and I kind of had the thought, I know we've seen an uptick in people just sort of dropping their mask and leaving, whether they're shopping or whatever, and I think it's a good opportunity to remind everyone that certainly we want people to stay safe, to mask up and social distance and stay safe in that regard, but remember the mask, when you're done with it, put it in the garbage can, if it's not a reusable one, of course, right? I mean, simple thoughts right there.
Yeah,
right?
just simple house cleaning stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're wearing the mask because you want to keep yourself safe, and then put it in the trash can and keep other people safe,
Right.
and
Right.
wildlife.
Right.
But yeah, there has been an uptake. We've seen more and more
Yeah.
masks and disposable gloves, items like that,
Correct.
PPE. But yeah, just put it in the trash can.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Keep it clean. Yep.
Indeed. Well, what other outreach efforts can you highlight as far as that you're working on or have been working on that people may not be aware of and again might give them an opportunity to participate? We talked about the river cleanups, the Great American Cleanup, the Adopt a Spot location opportunities, be it long-term or short-term. what you're doing on social media, which is a lot of stuff coming from a very small operation in that regard, the Clean Community Commission and their involvement in helping Suffolk stay clean. What other outreach efforts can you highlight?
Sure. So the big push right now is the Great American Cleanup, which we touched on. So that's next Friday, Friday 26th and Saturday 27th. So if anybody's interested, just let me know. We'll get you the equipment. You can clean up your street, and it's easy. We do have another recycling drive. Recycling is something that keeps up beautiful, provides for the city. It's a great event. We bring in Goodwill, Iron Mountain shredding, so you can bring your documents to be shredded. We have SIPs are on site with household hazardous waste, so you can dispose of your gasoline, your oil, and all that kind of nasty chemical stuff. We have tire collection at this event. This is going to be at the end of May. We're currently in our sort of organizing mode, so we haven't published a date yet. It's looking like the sort of third Saturday in May. So around the 22nd, I believe that is. But we'll have more details if anybody wants to check out our events page on Keep Suffolk Beautiful, or check with the city. But yeah, the recycling drive and Tire Amnesty Day is a big one. It's normally a 4-hour event, so from about 9 to 1. It'll be at Carolina Road, Public Works Operations for this event, so downtown area. But yeah, bring out those tires. It's a good time now to get rid of tires if they're lying around in your yard, because the mosquito season's about to start. It's all free. Just bring your Suffolk ID. It is for Suffolk residents only. Shredding, everything's free. So shredding is really popular. And you can bring as many documents as you want. If it gets busy, we might put might have to sort of limit the amount you can drop off at one time, but you can go back and join the queue, the line. But yeah, it does get a bit busy because people do want to keep their documents, their personal
Coming
stuff.
out of tax season, so people might have the older stuff to get rid of as you put the new stuff in the hopper, so to speak. So
yes, it's always amazing how many people show up for shredding. And we always partner with some charity organizations like the Lions Club to get rid of, to recycle, reuse old eyeglasses, hearing aids. They're a great charity. And they sell their brooms, and they help fund their program.
Correct.
And then we also work with 4Kids in town, and they collect food items and toiletries, anything that makes bubbles is how they sell it. Yeah, we collect for them. We drop everything off in town. It stays local. So it's a free event. So if you do come along, bring some food or some shampoo or something, and make a donation to those. That'd be greatly received.
I think it's unique with that event in particular. And I know it's very popular when you offer it, because you always talk about the tonnage that you get out of these type of things. It's always great to look at the result of it. But I think the fact that you're able to partner with so many different organizations to do so many different things in a very small window, I think that's the great thing that really broadens out the scope of it and the reach of it in that regard, because people are not just, recycling and doing this, but they're also able to repurpose items as far as with the organizations you talked about. I think that's a great relationship that y'all have established with all these organizations.
Yeah, I'm always looking to grow it too. It's super convenient because you can bring out, you can bring a tire, you can shred your documents, you can get rid of stuff to Goodwill, electronic clothing, whatever it might be, all in one go. And you just stop at each, it's a drive-through basically. And you can drop it all off in one go. And that's the beauty of it. It's super convenient, and it's useful to get rid of those items that you've just got lying around the garage, the old gasoline when you're about to get the mowing season undergo, and what are you going to do with this? Well, if you want to dispose of it responsibly, then you bring it to us, and it's free. So, it's great.
Well, you talked about recycling with that particular event, but I think it's always a good opportunity to remind people, and you're perhaps one of the better people to remind us of this, what should and shouldn't go in the blue can. There's a lot of confusion, and I know personal experience seeing people will, maybe around the holidays you overstuff the blue and you're going, that's not recycling in there, come on. But what should be going in there, and really what shouldn't be going in there? Let's give an opportunity to let everybody know again, to be clear about that.
It's good time actually, because we're about to do a new regional campaign called Start Smart, Recycle Right. We're getting back to basics. We're trying to, smooth over those gray areas to make it real simple. Your paper, your cardboard, and your magazines, drop those in, that's fine. If you got your Virginia Pilot that comes in the plastic bag, now take it out the plastic bag, because we don't want plastic bags. That's a big no-no. And don't, put your recyclables in a plastic bag either, because that's still a plastic bag. But yeah, the most confusing one I would have to say is the plastics. People are, we're a little bit confused by the triangles and the numbers, and, it's very confusing. But basically, with curbside recycling, all we want are the number 1s and number 2s, but only with a neck or a spout. So if it's one of those clamshells that your salad came in, that might be a number 2, that's a no.
Yep.
Okay, it's just beverage bottles, basically, detergents, anything with a neck and a spout or a jug. That's 1 or 2, and that's it for plastics. No other plastics, no plastic bags, no styrofoams, nothing like that. And then your aluminum cans, and your bean cans, that kind of stuff. And that's the real basics of, we don't want pizza boxes that are greasy.
Right, yeah. Because that's contaminated, considered contaminated,
all contaminants, no clothing, nothing that tangles, like, hose pipes and stuff. None of that stuff should be in there. So
I'm sure it'd be amazing what some people have thought might be recyclable, and maybe again intending to do the right thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But again, and I know
I've been guilty of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the pizza box. I think that's the one thing that gets me is that you don't think about, like you said, the grease and stuff that's on there, so it's not usable, correct?
Yeah, if it's soiled, it's soiled with grease, and it's no good to us. It's no good to them because it gets sold on as a raw material, so it's damaged. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely aspirational recyclers, and if it's something they're not sure about, well, they'll put it in because they'll figure it out down the road.
Yeah.
But our message, if there's any doubt, then leave it out. Put it in the green can.
Got it.
Because if we can clean up a recycling stream, it makes everything smoother.
Yeah.
If you're contaminating, then really you're not just contaminating yours, but you're contaminating your neighbors too.
Because it all goes in one pot.
It all goes into the big thing.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just want to make the process super easy, which is why we're doing this campaign, Start Smart, Recycle Right. We have a couple of very short videos that we're going to be putting out, animation just to keep it simple, and tell a little bit of the story about recycling too. What happens to it? Where does it go?
Right.
What are we doing when it leaves your house? What journey does it go on? What products can it be made into and stuff? So people can understand where it's ultimately ending up.
Right.
The ultimate fate of the product that you're putting in the recycling can.
Yeah,
if anybody's got any questions,
Yeah.
they can just email us at recyclesuffolkva.us,
Right.
and we get lots of random questions. And if it's something that's maybe not curbside, but could be recycled like an old TV.
Yeah.
People are getting rid of those right now. We get a lot of questions about TVs and stuff. They can email us and we can help them, point them in the right direction.
Yeah, I think sometimes people think, well, it went in the blue can. From there, it's just birds and rainbows. It's just and that's great. That's what we all want. I mean, but again, it's just making sure we're putting the right thing in there. You mentioned plastics, and with the neck, right? So when you have the laundry detergent bottle or the Coke bottle or whatever, so that's the stuff you want in there. What preparation, if any, needs to be done to put it in there? Because the laundry detergent, you don't get every drop out of there when you use it. So then you go, oh, I'll put it in the recycling container. But what should be done?
Yeah, I mean, get out as much as liquid as you can, because obviously you don't want that contaminating the other stuff.
Right.
You can take the lid off if you can, as long as it's empty. And it just rinse out glass. Glass is another one that can go into recycling.
Right.
Just rinse it out if you can. As clean as possible helps for sure. Yeah. So with plastics, just make sure they're empty.
Now you mentioned about the lid. Let me ask you that. So if you take the lid off your Coke bottle or soda bottle, whatever. Does the lid go in there too? No. So lids don't. So like in like your laundry detergent, the little cup that you pour everything, that does it, but the bottle can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Keep the lids out.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as their bottles are empty.
Yes.
We just want the bottles.
Got it.
And then the lid goes in the green can.
Gotcha.
It's a different type of plastic.
Gotcha. Well, Wayne, if anybody's watching the program today, which we know they are, and would like to get more information, you've mentioned it a couple times. What's a good contact phone number? And again, the email address and any other particulars for ways people could reach out to you with questions, or, hey, I want to adopt a street, or I got a group that wants to do a particular cleanup program. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Sure. My number's 514-7604. Or if you're into litter prevention type stuff, it's litter control at suffolkva.us. So that's litter control. And if you have a recycling question, it's just recycle at suffolkva.us. But they can email me on either one of those for anything they need in regards to either. So
got it.
But it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Wayne, I appreciate your time today and sharing with us the great things that you and the folks as far as in Public Works are doing, as far as in the efforts to again keep things clean and green. We'll put the words together, muddle it there. But I mean, you know what you're doing. So in that respect, and again, the Great American Cleanup is coming up the latter part of this particular week. The dates again, March 26th and 27th?
Yep, Friday 26th and Saturday 27th.
Gotcha. And again, we have some things to look forward to with another recycling drive, entire
Yep.
Amnesty Day coming up. You said late May?
It'll be late May, yeah.
Okay.
Probably the 22nd. We haven't quite.
So before Memorial Day weekend.
Yes,
Right,
that's the
gotcha.
goal. Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. So that's coming up. And then you mentioned the recycling campaign as well that'll be rolling out in the very near future.
Absolutely, yep.
And the name of that again?
That would be Start Smart, Recycle Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we'll have rack cards available if everyone wants one to put on their
Yes.
fridge.
Mhm.
And like I said, the videos, social media campaign that we'll be sharing with the
Perfect.
city and everything. So if anyone's got any questions about recycling, I know it can be a little bit confusing,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be.
Great.
Just let us know and we'll help you out.
Okay. Well, again, appreciate your time
Thank
today. That would do it for this edition of On the Scene. I'm your host, Tim Kelly. We'll see you next time.